Hello everybody, hope you're all still having a wonderful time this festive season. As promised, I'm going to invite you to take a look inside this beautiful box I have before me here. Tour of the sprues, as it were, a sprue tour. But first things first, it is Christmas after all, isn't it? This is another local brew, and you can't really get much more local. Come on, than the St Andrews Brewing Company, given that basically my postal address is St Andrews. This is their 80 bob, and like the Sky Brewing Company, it's a simple sort of design that they have, and each brew is a different colour. This one's a red circle, the other ones have a blue circle, and the other ones have a yellow circle like that. I'm not terribly familiar with these guys, which is a shame because they are a local brewer and I should be supporting them. But they actually have a pub in St Andrews called the St Andrews Brewing Company. But they don't serve pints and half pints. You buy the 2/3 of a pint and 1/3 of a pint for some strange reason. So yeah, before we get, look at that. Isn't that a lovely colour? Very hoppy, as it were. Hops, right, 80 bob style, traditional malty brown ale. It's 4.8% volume. Malt, pale malt, crystal malt, chocolate malt, roasted barley and crystal rye. And it uses Challenger, Target and Chinook hops. So, there we go. Anyway, cheers everybody. Lovely. Right, so, without further ado, let's have a look at this bad boy. Absolutely gorgeous box art. Tamiya have outdone themselves here, and you could you could use this as a reference material for your build. But of all the things on it that really appeal to me, it's the clouds in the background behind the palm trees. Very Studio Ghibli. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the Japanese animation studio, but their clouds on their they still use traditional painted 2D animation, but their clouds for some reason are just absolutely spectacular. They just look so real, and that's exactly what these reminded me of. But anyway, I digress. Let's get the box open, shall we? So, I've already had a fondle of this, so all the bags are open anyway. But, as you might expect, it's not an A4 sheet of paper that makes up the instruction booklet, or the instruction sheet. It is in actual fact how many pages are in this? It's a 56-page booklet, but there are, I don't know how many steps. Actually, funnily enough, there is the option to have the wings folded or the wings unfolded, straight. And they actually dedicate 2 sections of the instruction book, so it's kind of sort of going over, you know, so you've got the extended wings or the folded wings, and it's, in this instance it's steps 40 to 79 and 80 to 122 here. So obviously you use one or the other, so you're not using all those pages, but as kits go, this is one heck of a comprehensive kit. As I said previously, there probably will be aftermarket for it, but I'll be honest with you, I don't. Yes, they will be better. You know, if there will be a resin engine, but I think Edward do a brass-in resin engine for it, and yes, it will be better, but to be honest, not by an awful lot, to the extent that I don't really think it merits the additional expense, unless you're going to have every single access panel removed on this thing. What comes in this box is more than adequate, and similar to the only other 1/32 Tamiya that I've built is the Spitfire, which was the first kit I ever built upon return to my hobby. And again, like the Spitfire, you do get a little booklet that goes into a little detail about the Corsair and has some interior shots which are handy if you want to do any scratch building, and just to give you a little insight into the aircraft as well. But I will be using my trusty, where is it now? I need to get this back out again. I was using this when I was building the Revell 172nd F4U-1A, the Sam Publications Corsair, which has a wealth of information. Because I mean, I'll probably, like, in the cockpit, maybe do some wiring and whatnot, but just to what's already there rather than to anything. And there's a a single sheet that shows one of the variants. Why that particular one? Why we get... That's the box one. The one that's on the box art, so that's presumably why. But let's have a look at the plastic, shall we? And I'll just go with the order that they're coming out the box. This may not be the order that they were originally packed, but it doesn't matter, does it? Now, here's the engine sprue. And yeah, as I was saying, there is literally no need for any aftermarket. The cooling fins are just so crisp and precisely moulded. The exhausts are drilled, or rather, they're hollowed out, so you don't have to drill them yourself. If you want to make the side, the cross section a little bit thinner, it wouldn't take much to do that, but I don't think you would really need to do that. The gear reduction unit, all the details present, so I really can't see that an aftermarket would enhance this much more. I'll probably put wiring and whatnot on it, but other than that, it is an absolutely gorgeous piece of injection moulding. There is just no two ways about it. Like I say, the photo etch and resin will show it to a finer degree, but not a great deal more, I don't think. Right, the next sprue that's coming out is the Fuselage House. Looking at the interior of the fuselage, it's nice rib detail on the fuselage sidewalls. There are one or two ejector pin marks in between the ribs, but they don't look particularly prominent. It probably wouldn't take much just to get some sandpaper and I don't know if you can maybe shape something that's square section and just get in there and rub them down a wee bit without fear of damaging the actual ribbing detail itself. If you want to remove them, maybe a wash might pick them up a little bit, but I think by where they are, I think that the cockpit, the actual controls, panels and whatnots will all be covering that anyway. So, and even in the tail wheel area, it's actually got more detail than the main tub. On the outside, it's, oh my word, look at that, fully riveted airframe with ultra, almost just, it's perfection in plastic basically. It looks like every rivet is accounted for, including the single lines, the double lines. Oh, it's just absolutely wonderful. Really, now the thing is, we all know this about Tamiya, is that their decals are very, very thick, and whether they will bed down into that, even with the strongest setting solutions, I would doubt it very much. So I really am going to see if I can find some masks so that I can paint the markings on, at least the national insignias anyway, so that this rivet detail just just shows through. Oh, it's just absolutely stunning, perfectly done. Right, this sprue here appears to have some propeller blades on it and some horizontal stabilizers, and again, just looking at them, there's the actual wheel hubs. The main parts of the horizontal stabilizers, again, every rivet's there. The panel lines are... These panel lines wouldn't look out of place on a 144th, to be honest with you. If I bought a 144th kit and the panel lines looked like this, I'd be happy. This is 1/32. They are just absolutely spot on. Plastic bag. Right, this is obviously part of the cockpit tub. Side consoles, radio consoles, all the switch gear is present and correct, with either rotary switches or that type of switch. Sorry, I don't know the technical term. I probably do know the technical term, just can't recall it. Throttle quadrants. Oh wow, look at that. Okay, so photo etch and resin would be slightly better, but this, honestly, I know I'm going to keep repeating myself like a broken record here, but they're really, unless you're an absolute rivet counting perfectionist, I really don't see any need to go and spend any more money on this. I know I did say I'm going to put the photo etch actuators on the cowling flaps, but that's only because they're not present here. If they were present, I would be more than happy with what Tamiya would have given me. And also the seat harnesses. I do like the idea of the Edward fabric one. They call it fabric, but I think it's a paper. But it has the heavy stitching that you have on the US seat harnesses. Tamiya do give us photo etch seat harnesses which we'd have to paint, but trying to get that stitching might, I'm not saying it wouldn't be impossible, but it would be a lot easier using the fabric ones. The fabric ones also come with separate photo etch buckles, so they really do look realistic, but you have to obviously thread it through the buckles and everything. Oxygen cylinders, appears to be a flare gun. It's just absolutely, the seat is lovely and thin as well. There's the seat halves, sorry, the seat back and the seat sides. Again, that's going to look just, certainly not overscale by any stretch of the imagination. So again, we seem to have more what appears to be cockpit detail and the main wheel struts, which are in halves because with Tamiya you do get the reinforcing steel rod to go inside them. There's the tail wheel. Wow, look at the tail wheel. That couldn't be better than resin, I don't think. Absolutely superb. Gorgeous. Clear parts, I'll leave them just now. There's a lot of plastic in this box, by the way. Again, parts of the cockpit. There's the instrument panel there. Again, just incredibly well moulded. It's in 3 parts. I know there's a clear part to replicate the lenses, and then a decal that goes behind that, and then there's other cockpit equipment. There's another like set of levers, and just rotating it around, it's not like they're thick, flat or anything. They do appear to be, I think they might be slightly overscaled, but by an amount that really is negligible. I don't know if these are wheel, I think these are wheel covers. There's quite a bit of wheel, are they? I don't know what that is, but whatever it is, it looks beautiful, as one would expect. This appears to be the main fuel tank, a couple of bomb options and another instrument panel. I suppose a lot of these sprues might share boxes with the birdcage Corsair, although I can't really see a difference in those instrument panels. I dare say there, oh yes there is, I beg your pardon. There's a set of 3 dials there, of which there isn't on this one. And that looks like the collector ring for the engine, which, I'm going to say it again, I don't think you could better it in resin. There's the arrestor hook. Again, it looks like it's been sculpted rather well. Now this obviously is wing stuff. If you want the folding wing option, and these are the wing ends here. Again, there's rivet detail. There's, I think Tamiya they're showing off a little bit here with what they can do with plastic, because obviously there is not even the merest hint of any flash whatsoever. And the experience I had with their little 1/72 0, you just know that there will be no fit issues whatsoever. Here's, I am presuming, would be the if that's the folding part of the folded wing part end. This would be the fixed wing part end, and again it's very nicely protected here with the actual sprue. Oh, wow, look at that. There's I don't know if that's hydraulic lines or not, but access panels all with their, you know, the bolts and everything are in place, just, and quite fine as well. The supports seem to be quite intricate, which is why it's got the protection around the runner there. This sprue seems to have what appears to be more of the wing fold options, but there's the wheel covers. Again, 1 or 2 ejector pin marks, but Tamiya do have a tendency of trying to put their pin marks where they're then covered by something else, because I do know that some of these wheel cover pieces are in fact 2-part, so obviously the ejector pin marks are going to be covered, but again, very crisp, precision moulding. Cowling covers, cowling flaps. Is this the open or closed option? I think this is the open. Yeah, it's the open option. And here we have, oh, wait a minute, what's going on here? Huh. Well, that's clever. Or was it? Was that meant to be like that? I don't know. Or was that meant to be coming off of here? Oh yeah, that was. It's just that actually fits onto there, and one part fits inside the other. But there we go. That's the voyage of discovery. Yeah, that's your cowling, the engine cover. Oh, it just clipped into place. Look at that. It's perfect. I mean, it's wondrous. I mean, look at that fit. It's invisible. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit excited here. Here we have some flaps, ailerons and goodness knows what, but here we have the actual landing flaps as well, which I will most certainly be showing dropped. Right, come to a big sprue here with the wings, the main wings, and again, as you would expect, just fantastic rivet detail. Wow, I mean, lots of rivet. In fact, I would imagine every single rivet that was on a Corsair is represented here. It's unparalleled. I've never seen anything like this. Which isn't to say that there isn't. I'm just saying I haven't seen anything like this. The quality of surface detail is just, it's unsurpassed really. This deserves to be given the best possible. So let's hope I do it justice. I mean the possibilities for weathering and chipping along all these lines is just endless really. And this is the underside where they cover the wheel wells, and again, this is probably just going to clip together, isn't it? You know, glue is optional. Something that is always a problem if you're wanting to show an aircraft with the undercarriage up is that the wheel covers obviously need something to sit on. You know, like a little rim for them to attach to, and quite often that can be quite heavy. It's now invisible here, if to the extent that you can barely see it. So, because you do, it's like I think a lot of their 1/32 kits, you can show the wheels up and there'll be a small screw, yep, here we go. There's the screwdriver and some screws so that you can actually detach the wheels and show them in a retracted position, I think. I'm assuming anyway. In with the screwdriver is the rubber tyres with the realistic diamond tread on them. A lot of people don't like rubber tyres, but I think on the bigger kits, if they're done properly, and you just know that these will be done properly, that they'll look the part. Okay, you won't get flat spots for the weight, so if that be the case, if you do want to show weighted tyres, then the Edward Brasson option would probably be your best bet there. But no, these look good. The one tricky thing with a rubber tyre, and these do have it here, is the seam line. You know, when they're moulded together, you do have a little seam line because you can't really, well, I would imagine sanding it would be quite tricky. That's also the two steel bars for the main undercarriage. You do get a stand because, as I say, you can show it in flight or wheels load, and you'll probably get, I would imagine, the sticker that says Corsair on it. And you do get two figures, one standing, one seated. And I did actually consider maybe putting the seated chap in, because there's not an awful lot of his face on display, so there's not an awful lot for me to kind of screw up. And also the fact is that the moulded figure has the seat harness in place, which would negate having to buy the seat harness set. So I might consider that, I don't know. As I say, my figure painting may let what is otherwise a stunning kit down, so we'll wait and see. As I say, you know, you can't see his eyes, of course. I don't suppose he's got goggles anywhere that we could fit on him, but anyway. And the clear parts, which I'm guessing will be perfect. Yeah, they do look fairly good, to say the least. And again, something I'm very, very happy with is that the front section, the windscreen, does come with a section of fuselage. So if there is, not that there will be, but if there is any fit issues, we're dealing with it away from the clear part, so that there's not a problem there. There's our instrument panel. The instrument panel, and the smaller instrument panels. and lots of various other bits of clear. I dare say there'll be a gun sight. Oh, look, there's goggles. There's goggles for the guy. Oh, cool. Actually, you get clear goggles for your pilot. So I may actually have a go with the pilot. I'll paint them first before I get to the stage where everything gets, you know, sewn up. And if I make a good enough job of them, I'll stick them in. If not, then nothing's lost there really. Yeah, all the lights, all the light lenses. It's just perfect. I mean, I can see my room. Okay, there's a slight lensing distortion because it's a curved piece of glass, so it wouldn't matter if it was made by Carl Zeiss. But I mean, I can read the, you know, milliput boxes, lead wire, strip styrene. You know, it's, you can't ask for better than that, really, can you? Oh yeah, the canopy masks. One thing I've always been quite surprised with Tamiya is that you have to physically cut the canopy masks yourselves, and if there's some intricate curves, that can be quite tricky. But good sharp blade should be no problem. There's the photo etched frets, of which there are two. One provides, you know, the grill covers, and there's the one with all the seat belts. But as I say, if I'm going to use the guy, the seated figure, we won't need seat belts. If I'm not going to use him, then as I say, I'm going to get the Edward fabric ones. And of course the decals. Oh, there's a separate stencil sheet. Which again, I might omit these, because I mean, just running my finger over there is like braille. Very, very thick. Granted, there's very little in the way of carrier film, but just their thickness will mean that you can almost hear them as I take my finger over them, that any weathering could be, you know, gathered around the edges, and it just, nah. There is a company who does rub-on transfers for stencils, so you get an ultra-realistic matte stencil effect that you put on, you know, after you've painted and deckled and don't know, whatever you're going to do to your kit, and they just rub up. You press them on and you peel the paper away and they stay on the kit. So there's obviously no carrier film, there's very little in the way of, you know, actual thickness to them. So if I'm going to do stencils, I might try and, I can't remember who it is that makes them now, I might try and find these. I was going to use them on the Thunderbolt, but it was about £13 worth. So they are quite expensive, but this being the kit that it is, I might go to that expense. But, you know, as I say, with the Thunderbolt, would you notice that there's no stencils on it? And I've seen a couple of builds of these things with no stencils, so we may omit them completely, but we'll wait and see. And the main decal sheet, which isn't as big as you would think, but yeah, typical Tamiya, quite thick. You can see the edges actually catching the light, and yeah, I will try and see if I can get some kind of, I mean, it probably, judging by the size of these things, I could probably maybe do it myself, I don't know. I mean, it's just a star, or use these as an actual, you know, for the actual star itself. It would be easy enough to cut the star out, wouldn't it? Or should we just try and get a mask set? I don't know. Well, it's April this has to be finished by, so I've got a couple of months to think about that. But at least they're not glossy right enough, just incredibly, incredibly thick. So there we go, that's Tamiya's latest, the F4U-1A Corsair. There's nothing I can say that I haven't already said. This is an absolutely astounding piece of plastic engineering. Needless to say, it's highly recommended. It's probably not the cheapest thing out there. I mean, I would imagine they're going to be around about the £100 or $130 or $40 worth. It's a big kit, but you do appear to get your money's worth. That's a lot of plastic. That is a lot of plastic. It does really fill the box quite nicely. I've just put that down on, oh no, there's the clear parts there. Yeah, so there we go. That's a little sprue tour of the new Corsair. I'm going to get started on this probably tomorrow. it's only 20 to 5, so I might start on it tonight and get the cockpit stuck together again. One of the things I'm very, very surprised about, and that is that Tamiya don't do US interior green. They tell you to use 3 parts of their flat green with 1 part of their flat yellow. I do have US interior green, the Mr. Hobby one, but for a company that does such a lot of high quality US kits or aircraft, why they don't do that? But I mean, they do the Japanese interior green, they do RAF interior green, in fact it's the same one, and yet no, I mean they've got the Mustang in their collection, they've got the Birdcage, they've got this one now. Why no US interior green, Tamiya? Come on, what's the story? Well folks, I hope you found that of some use if you're considering getting this kit. I mean, it is expensive, but then anything that bears this name is usually always in the upper price bracket regions. And I know there are a lot of contenders to Tamiya's throne, because let's face it, that's where they sit. Your trumpeters, your hobby bosses, who are bringing out a lot of larger scale kits, be it 48th, 32nd, 24th in the case of trumpeter, that are very nicely moulded, very accurate, and a lot less expensive. But now I haven't built this kit yet, but I have built their Spitfire, and it was a joy to behold. It really was an amazing experience. You're getting to build a very accurate, very detailed model kit here, with none of the worries that you have. I mean, I have so many kits that have stalled because of fit issues in some area that requires a lot of attention. This is a very intricate kit, but I am fairly confident that it will just literally fall together, snapping together in some cases, I'm sure. Filler will not be needed. Probably in some cases glue won't be needed. But if you are in the market for something big and beautiful, you can't go wrong with this baby here. So anyway, I've maybe filled this a little bit too much, so I'm just going to have to drink some, haven't I? Anyway, I hope you're all still having a wonderful holiday season, however you choose to celebrate it. And as always, we will see you again soon. Slàinte.